What vehicle can lift you up as if your whole body were lighter than air? This gun in my hand. Clouds obscure the moon. Falk Zildjian, insubmersible hero by virtue of the fact that he carries a gun, stands on the heaving deck of a smuggler's ship, surrounded by zealous followers of the Kryptonite. Become one of us.
Become one of us.
Become one of us.
Too many of them, pressing in on all sides. Can't raise my gun.
Ahoy there, Mr. Zildjian. Look above you. Grab the rope ladder.
Nothing else I can do. Here goes nothing. Get off me, you ghouls!
Wait, I haven't told you about the tokens or the blocks or the chains? What about the Byzantine fault tolerance?
No idea what awaits me at the top of this rope ladder. It's too dark to see.
Sorry, Zildjian, old thing. I ordered the lights be doused while we were close to hostile ground forces. But now that we've effected your rescue, we can make all ahead full and ascend sharply.
All ahead full, ascending sharply.
And let's have the cabin and gondola lights on, shall we? Welcome aboard the semi-rigid Airship Islington. You have permission to come aboard, sir.
Thanks. I guess you know my name. Who are you?
I am Captain Debo, Grand Master of Gas Bags, Diplomat of Dirigibles.
Captain Nemo? It's an honor. I'd love to see your submersible vehicle.
No, it's Debo. I beg your pardon. That's much better. Captain Hassan Fefa Debo. D as in dirigible, E as in extraordinary, B as in balloon, and O as in, oh Captain, my Captain.
Hey, you could tell people it's Debo as in debonair.
But you really couldn't, could you? Because it's not pronounced that way. It's Debo, not Debo.
Oh well.
I admire your attempt to dispatch that gang of Kryptonauts below.
I haven't experienced a human swarm like that before.
Until you've interacted with them once or twice, you can't realize how quickly they draw other fools to their cause. I disdain not just these individuals, but the whole blundering mindset of throwing technology about without thinking it through, wasting electricity on some so-called currency that's only used for speculation, not for buying goods or services.
That's what I tried to tell them.
In their headlong rush towards what they believe is progress, they're willing to abandon classic tools and technologies that have stood the test of time. For example, this very vehicle in which we travel. They keep adding more wings and bigger engines to their flying machines, when dirigibles present a stable, proven method of travel. Slow and steady wins the race. Now then, can we get some tea for Mr. Zildjian?
Tea service to the bridge.
As massive as the Airship Islington is, she requires a complement of only 7 crew. Here's my security chief and second in command, Lieutenant Charmaine.
Captain, the lookout spotted a cow in the field below. I recommend we liquidate the threat.
How are we threatened by a cow?
Those horns, sir. If we were forced to make an emergency landing in the field, the creature could puncture the gas bag.
No, Charmaine. We need to conserve bombs for the real mission. Carry on.
Very good, sir.
Suppose I should tell you of our mission, shouldn't I? It's those damned aeroplane manufacturers. Ever since the airship disasters of the USS Akron and USS Macon, then the blasted Hindenburg, there's been a sort of pall cast over lighter-than-air shipping. It's a whispering campaign by aeroplane manufacturers, trying to muscle out the competition. They'll give zeppelins and dirigibles a bad reputation if we don't stop them.
Isn't it a little late for that?
Not at all. Those vehicles failed due to inferior design, that's all. We can be just as safe as winged vehicles with improvements to our skins, a better mix of gas, keeping life jackets and parachutes on board. When you fall off a horse, you've got to get right back up in the saddle. Don't let the Hindenburg be the end of it all, by Jove.
Excuse me, Captain Debo.
Oh, hello, MacGuffin. This is Falk Zildjian, one of those gun-toting crime fighters we hear so much about. Zildjian, I failed to mention we have a paying passenger on this trip. Bit unusual, but it helps keep us afloat, financially speaking. May I introduce Michael Rowe MacGuffin?
Please, my friends call me Mike, or the guys in the old photography club used to call me Film. Mike Rowe Film MacGuffin. Yes, that's what it said under my picture in the yearbook. Say, Captain Debo, I meant to ask, do you have blueprints of this wonderful ship?
Yes, absolute necessity in case we need hasty repairs while aloft, or if we're blown off course to a lost continent full of prehistoric beasts, then
I bet enemy nations would love to get their hands on these blueprints, right?
You might be surprised how few have made a play for them. But yes, we try to keep them secure.
Could I take a look at them? In my cabin?
Of course. But please, don't engage in your hobby while they're in your possession.
Clog dancing?
Photography, my good man. I assumed if you were in the photography club in school and they gave you that charming nickname,
Mike Rowe, Film MacGuffin.
surely the photographic arts are still bubbling within you. I just meant, please don't take photographs of the blueprints. Oh, right. I didn't bring a camera on this trip. Quite all right, then. Here they are. Now run along to your cabin. I have to keep things here on the bridge in shipshape and aeronautical fashion.
This packet of blueprints is somewhat heavy. Do you have the designs in a smaller medium? Maybe you have film negatives?
Of course, but they're much too small to read with the naked eye.
I just thought it would be fun to look at, and lighter to carry around.
Quite. Yes, I believe I have film negatives stored here alongside the paper blueprints. Here.
Thank you, Captain. Are you sure that was a good idea, Captain Debo? Giving very small film of the secret plans to a guy named Mike Rowe Film MacGuffin?
Nothing to fear, Mr. Zildjian. I know he's a spy, although I can't be sure if he's with Lockheed or Grumman or the Mongolian People's Party. I know he wants microfilm, but the joke's on him. I gave him vesicular.
What's that?
It's a cheaper manufacturing process, less durable. The image will probably fade away within 10 or 20 years unless it's preserved at optimal temperature and humidity.
Ah, there he goes. I believe you're missing a parachute now because I can see him through the windshield or whatever you call this. He just jumped.
More importantly, the film I gave him is 27 millimeters in width. I can see from your expression that you're unfamiliar with standard microfilm formats. Allow me to educate you. Microfilm reading devices generally accommodate 16 millimeter or 35 millimeter film, or microfiche, which are rolls of 105 millimeter film cut into individual cards. He has no way to read our 27 millimeter film, you see. No one makes a viewing device for that size.
He could hold it up to the sun or some other light source with a magnifying glass.
Zildjian, you're a genius! Oh, drat. Well, perhaps this is for the best. If word gets around that rival organizations feel strongly enough to steal airship designs, everyone will see that airships are still vitally important, that we should continue using and making them. Lieutenant Charmaine, get on the radio and see that word gets around. We're approaching our target. Be a good fellow and pass me one of the bombs from that cabinet, won't you?
Which cabinet? What's your target?
The cabinet plainly labeled bombs. Straight ahead of you. Just follow your nose. Come, dear boy, they're not heavy. Each one's the size of an aubergine. No, that's not right. You call them eggplants in the States, don't you? Hand me one and stand by to keep me supplied.
No! Who are you bombing in Parabellum City?
We're not over Parabellum City anymore, are we? We're over the Lockheed plant in Santopolis. Have you not heard a single word I've said this evening? A bit rude, that. I told you aeroplane manufacturers are targeting the lighter-than-air industry. We're targeting them back.
You can't just bomb an airplane factory willy-nilly. Even if you felt the executives were guilty of murder, your bombs might kill accountants or janitors or, I don't know, inspectors of actuators.
It's a pity, but they've made their choice, haven't they?
I'll stop you if I have to, Debo. You're making... What's that?
Anti-aircraft guns, of course. They're playing for keeps, as I've tried to tell you.
So this cabinet?
The one labeled bombs, yes. Thank you. Bombs away!
Bombs away, sir.
Don't stop now, keep them coming.
You have helium in the cells of your gas bags, right? Not hydrogen?
Coal gas.
Is that flammable?
Rather.
What about all this anti-aircraft fire? We're sitting ducks.
Floating ducks, more like. Have no fear, old boy. We have anti-aircraft weapons. They shoot the anti-aircraft rounds before they come anywhere near the Islington.
Could you just let me off soon?
We won't be setting down until Wednesday, I'm afraid. But you can have a cabbage root.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Terribly sorry, that's Cockney rhyming slang for parachute. Cabbage root, see? Rhymes.
Please give me the parachute.
Here, I'll open the port. Now mind you, jump clear so you don't get tangled in the starboard prop. Before you jump, tell me honestly, Mr. Zildjian, is there anything in the air tonight as beautiful as this ship?
Yes, this gun in my hand!
Mom, do you ever feel, heavy? Like you can't even get off the ground? Yes, that's when I use an airship. An airship? A vehicle that uses lighter-than-air gases to fly. They can be used for aerial surveillance or transporting goods or passengers. Did you know the first vehicle that flew over the North Pole was a semi-rigid airship? How do you know so much about blimps? Well, setting aside the fact that blimps are only one category of airship, the kind that uses gas pressure to hold their shape instead of a stiff keel or rigid internal framework. Where was I? Oh, the reason I know so much is that I'm being paid by the Airship Society for Work, Industry, Progress, and Education, also known as we pay. Are you doing secretarial work? No, dear, I'm a paid spokesperson, and we're recording a commercial for them right now. Am I getting paid? You didn't ask permission to record me. That's because I wanted your honest, spontaneous reaction. You can ask all sorts of genuine questions about airships, and I can answer them. Doesn't that sound more interesting than me just rattling off a speech about them? I guess we're negotiating my salary right now while recording, if that's how you want it. Young lady, if you think you can... The Airship Society for Work, Industry, Progress, and Education, also known as we pay. That's great, Mom. What else does this organization do, besides what's already spelled out in their name? As we pay is working towards a better future for all of us. One where safe, affordable dirigibles and zeppelins... And blimps? And blimps will become everyone's favorite mode of transportation. How will they accomplish that? By raising awareness with advertisements like this one, and by urging citizens to vote with your dollars. Instead of buying a ticket for a train or airliner, ask your travel agent for the nearest zeppelin or dirigible. That won't work, Mom. The airplane manufacturers is going to crush airships. Have you got a better idea? Should we stop recording right now? No, what you should ask for is cash. Sell as we pay memberships to average people. Give them 3 different levels of membership, silver, gold, and platinum, so they can recreate their class stratification. Milk them for donations and then pass the money on to politicians in exchange for the airship industry getting subsidies or government contracts. That's bribery. That's campaign contributions, and you can bet your bippy the airplane lobbyists are already doing it. There's no reason the Airship Society for Work, Industry, Progress, and Education should take the high road when it leads to oblivion.
Who taught you to be so cynical?
You, all right. I learned it by watching you.
Oh, the humanity. D is for Dirigible. Episode 36 of This Gun in My Hand was erected and inflated by Rob Northrop. Visit thisguninmyhand.blogspot.com for credits, show notes, information on how to subscribe, and to buy my books, such as Little Heist in the Big Woods and other revisionist atrocities. Who wouldn't like to ride in my beautiful balloon? This gun in my hand.